public relations opportunity for Major League Baseball, because if they could iron these things out, frankly, I think we're behind the NFL. I think we're behind the NBA. Look what they've done with Jordan, who played 22 years ago the last time for Chicago. And now watching The Last Dance on Sunday night has become Super Bowlic. You know? I mean, they have created this incredible image of NBA basketball. Just normal guys playing their game. The NFL, they have a schedule show a few weeks ago. 3 hours on ESPN, and everybody in the nation that loves sports, they're tuned into just watching a schedule being released. And now baseball has an opportunity to do something great. And I just hope
absolutely. We're going to go through this all over again in a year and a half if they don't figure something out.
What about, Kevin, while I got you, and I don't want to cut into your show tonight, but I think about these young players, and I'm going to use one in particular, but it could be any group of players. You know, you got the young kid in Tampa who, Franco, is arguably the top-rated prospect in all of Major League Baseball. And now there's no minor league season in all likelihood. Do the Rays, just throwing this out there, and I'm combining this with your idea, if you could work out some collective bargaining agreement to affect the service time issue, could the Rays bring up a Franco, let him play some in 2020, and think about how that might impact the image and the viewership of Major League Baseball?
Definitely. And it depends on what the roster size is that they end up agreeing upon. I've heard things and seen things written for, I think they've already talked about going to 30 rather than the 26, which was already an increase, and they may go even higher. I've seen 35 and 40 written for active rosters. And a team like the Rays, that plays right into their playbook. They've been planning for this for years, to platoon everybody, to pinch hit several times a game, and they'll get players like that involved, especially if it doesn't affect his service time.
That would be an incredible thing. So we talk fantasy baseball on here all the time, Kevin. You know, we've already done, most of us have done our drafts. You know, there are players out there right now that weren't drafted now that become fantasy relevant. I was just talking about that a little bit. I picked on Austin Riley a moment ago. Is there a player out there that you think, hey, his stock has really shot up in my mind because now he's more relevant because of the universal DH?
I think the first player to pop in my mind is one that pops in a lot of people's mind, and it's Dylan Carlson. I think he's with the Cardinals from the get-go under any proposed plan that we've seen so far.
And he's a 5-tool guy. And I think right now he's probably the best outfielder the Cardinals have, period. Not just on the farm. I think he's better than any of the Baders or the Fowlers, Tyler O'Neills. I'd rather have him than any of those guys.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw somebody put on Twitter last night, you know, we've been preaching for 20 years that fantasy baseball is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Well, this year it's going to be a sprint, and it's the same for the teams. Like Lenny brought up months ago, the Pirates were a game back at the All-Star break last year. So teams are going to need the best players they have available on the field.
No doubt. And, you know, I think about a team like take the White Sox. I think they're so intriguing to me with the young players they've got, and they've got a few veterans as well. You know, they go out and they still have Abreu. They go out and sign some veteran pitchers in the offseason. But I really think over now an 82-game season, they could be boom or bust. I mean, they could win it all in an 82-game season. They're just a team to me that's very intriguing.
Yep, exactly. Several teams like that. Lenny brought up the Angels. There's a lot of teams that will be in that same boat.
Well, look, hey, I really appreciate you calling in this morning. You're on at 6 tonight, right?
Absolutely. I'll see you then, Arnie.
Hey, give us a little snip what we might be listening for tonight. How about that? Just a little preview. You ready?
Well, yeah, absolutely. A little bit of what you and Lenny have been talking about. It's definitely the news of the day. We're going to go into that. And then I have Connor Kirkone put out an article with a new metric that he came up that is very intriguing to me that I want to discuss a little bit.
Well, let's have it at 6. We'll be tuned in. Thank you for calling, Kevin. I'm looking forward to it tonight at 6. Aloha.
Thanks for having me, Arnie. Aloha.
That's Kevin Hastings, the great Kevin Hastings, who does a tremendous show. He'll be on tonight at 6. And if any of you other guys want to call in, that's what it sounds like. So give me a call, 919-922-9093. Talking now about these free agents who may make a splash. He mentioned Dylan Carlson, who's a 5-tooler. I think he's going to play a big role in St. Louis. How about their rival, the Chicago Cubs, who now have... We got another call. They now have a chance to play Ian Happ every day. Let's see who we got on the phone. Caller, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Arnie? It's King Happ calling from the Happy Hour with King Happ. We're on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Just wanted to give a quick shout-out and give you a call here. I got something that's really grinding my gears I wanted to chat with you about and see your opinion.
Let's do it. I'm ready, King.
All right, we got Scott Boras here talking about the. You were talking about whether the players or whatever are going to accept the this offer that's out there. And one thing that's kind of grinding my gears, you got Scott Boras running his mouth, and he's talking about now the players, the owners, they want them to take a pay cut this year. Maybe they should consider giving interest in their teams to certain players. Now I'm looking at this, thinking to myself, I mean, in what world do these owners who make the investment and guarantee these contracts owe these players anything? I don't understand where Scott Boras is coming at with this. I'm thinking that somebody, a guy like this is kind of a monkey wrench in our system here that maybe could cost us baseball for the season. I don't know. I mean, you tell me. What do you think on that one?
No, I think you're exactly right. And I think here's the thing we got to do. It's not time to be greedy in America. We got an unemployment rate over 20% of average Joes like you and me, right? And now we got baseball players who are making incredible salaries and owners who are making incredibly more than that. And I think it's time, you're right, man. I mean, where's Boras coming from? I mean, get off of the throne. And, dude, think about where we are. We're trying to do something that will invigorate the baseball fan, not turn them away. And that kind of attitude is this very thing. I'm glad you called and brought that up, King, because that's the very thing I'm talking about this morning. We cannot let this happen to the game of baseball.
Yep, how can you turn? Well, my other thing is this man's all about greed. He speaks like he represents, or he's speaking for all the players and the whole players union and things like that. When really he's only speaking for his 100 or so clients. I understand he's probably, the best that's ever done it in the business, and he has milked these owners for every cent they can get, which in the end only ends up coming back to the fans. Because we end up with higher ticket prices. But at the same time, we got this guy here. He's out there preaching like he's there for, to help everybody. He's only looking to, make money himself and for his clients, which, don't get me wrong, I'm all about everybody getting their piece of the pie. But I don't think in any world where these players obviously make no investment, but, these owners do guarantee the contracts. It's their initial investment, and he thinks that they're entitled to the piece of the pie as they go forward. I couldn't disagree more.
Oh, I totally agree. He's coming on. It sounds to me like he's trying to be like Mother Teresa or somebody, and no way. I mean, come on. He's wearing this costume. He is not promoting the game of baseball. He's not. You're right. Whatever he's talking about right now, if they did it, they're not going to. If they did it, King, it's going to kill the game. And the owners, it's just going to create more of an abyss between ownership and players. And as we go back to what Kevin last called about, this is a chance to iron out some other issues too and proceed forward so that the game of baseball can return to being the national pastime and catch up with the PR work of the other sports. And, I think he needs to go home, sit down, keep his mouth shut, let the players union, let the owners work it out, and let's see how it goes.
I couldn't agree more, big man. And I'll tell you one last thing on that. I look at it and I see, you know what I mean? You look at these players, now they're all, starting to chirp about wanting a piece of the pie, this, a piece of that, getting part of the team. These guys, these owners that make this money, and don't get me wrong, I don't feel one bit bad for billionaire owners whatsoever. But one of the things that I don't get is these people put a lifetime of work into this. They put billions of dollars into their teams, and then, these players that come along for 2, 3, 11, a 12, I don't know, like, think about it. Even the people who play the longest, somebody like, David Ortiz or somebody like that in Boston. If you look at these players that play for an extended period of time, they're only putting in 8 years, 9 years, something like this. How are they entitled to this? I don't understand where Boris is coming from. I think that greed is what could potentially get us to miss out on an entire season of baseball. I hope that other agents and players don't start getting these ideas in their head and potentially cost us a season where we could get some entertainment out there for the people when they need it most.
Oh, no doubt. And you think about this, King. Think about July 4th across our nation. It's, that time of year. It's summer. We're celebrating our nation. We've gone through together. You've heard that so much. We're in this together, right? And it also applies to baseball. We're in this together, so don't be acting like a prima donna now when it's time that you could really stand up and take a statement, make a statement. Let's put baseball front and center July 4th, 2020, and what a great day that would be for the nation. And think about, we're the only show in town. We're the only show in town.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. So, hey, great. Thanks for calling, buddy. And so it's Wednesday night at 6:30. It's King Hap and his court. So let's tune in next Wednesday night. And I'm going to be listening next Wednesday night, King. And I appreciate you calling in this morning. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate you having me on a great show. It isn't very often you get an honor like this to speak to such a great fantasy mind. I appreciate you having me on the air, and everybody. 7:00 Wednesday nights, the happy hour, King Hap, my main man Taco. Guys, I'll see you there. And you know what, Honor? You have a great rest of the show. I can't wait to get back out there and listen. Have a great day.
Let's do it. Thanks, King. That was King Hap. Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. here on the Lenny Milnick Fantasy Sports Network. It's King Hap. It's Taco. It's a great show. Look, commercial time, okay? This network has so many great podcasters, not me included, but these other guys are awesome. And the thoughts that we share, some are similar, some are different, but you get it real right here. No commercials. You tune into some of these satellite channels and you get an hour show, but you get 35 minutes of content because you got 25 minutes of commercials. On this show, it's all good stuff. So hats off to King Hap and Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. Kevin Hastings tonight at 6. Talking about the finances, talking about the schedule. And maybe Hap has some commercials, but it's all because Hap is the man. He can do what he wants, right? Anyway, let's talk about this schedule and how it affects the teams. I want to get just beyond the finances. However, if you want to call in at 919-922-9093, call in. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I want to talk about this schedule now and how it affects the teams and affects us in fantasy. Because that's why I'm saying I'd love to see the schedule. How many of you guys, Yankee fans, Mets fans, Red Sox fans, Northeast, loaded with them, right? I mean, you're drafting in fantasy not only top players, you're also drafting players that you really like. Okay, so you go out and you draft a bunch of Yankees. You're thinking that, we're going to be playing the Red Sox. Yeah, that'll be good. We're going to be playing the Blue Jays. Not such great pitching. We're going to be playing the Orioles. Feast, right? Just feast. And now all of a sudden, you're not just playing those things, but you're playing the Nationals with great pitching. You're playing the Mets with Jacob deGrom. You're playing a schedule that you did not anticipate when you drafted a fantasy team in March. Meanwhile, let's go to maybe not quite as pitching rich. The Reds, the Cubs, the Cardinals. Oh man, can you imagine the runs that may be scored in that division? The White Sox. It's going to be an incredible Central Division offensively, in my opinion. And now with the universal DH, which we were talking about a moment ago, the Cubs, for example, now they can DH Schwarber. And let's face it, Schwarber's like Fat Albert out there in the outfield. Now he can DH, and there's no doubt he can bash. Hap's going to be out in the outfield, maybe playing some second base, playing a lot more now than he would have been had there been no DH. Kevin Hastings brought it up in his call a few minutes ago. Dylan Carlson's going to be doing the same thing in St. Louis, playing regularly. How about Polanco in Pittsburgh, who had the bad shoulder throwing? Now he can DH if they choose to do that. The Reds. Wow. Okay. How many outfielders do the Reds really have? Like 17 or something?